since the Mavericks wanted to keep the series alive, I decided to get drunk one more time and record a video. Because a few of you like Drunk Leon, but if you want Drunk Leon to be a mainstay, it's very simple. Link in the description, send me money, because alcohol is not cheap, and I don't get drunk too often. I'm not a very hard drinker, but when I drink, I have a fun time. But anyway, that's besides the point. You see the title of the video and you're drastically confused. How could any scenario be played out like this? Well, it's very simple. Personal responsibility is not a factor in a lot of equations, especially as it pertains to your body. You right now, you're probably eating something and it's probably unhealthy. And you probably looking at me and me looking at you, and then you looking at your gut and you thinking, my God, he's right. I'm so fat and decrepit. That's your problem. Get healthy. Make better decisions eating wise. Make better decisions in whatever it pertains to your body, especially when it comes to coitus. Ladies, men, I know it's tempting. You see these curvaceous bodies, you see that dick print, and you thinking, ooh, I want me some of that. But just know, the Bible says, thou shalt rap it before thou tap it. And if you choose not to do that, if you choose not to have safe coitus, there is the potential for you to get a disease. And then when you get that disease, you should go to the hospital to see if you can get cured of that disease. But if not, or if you have the opportunity, don't demand a car insurance company with the mascot being a gecko lizard to pay you $1 million. A woman demands Geico pay her $1 million after she gets an STD in her partner's car. A federal appeals court on Wednesday heard arguments over whether car insurance should pay out benefits to a woman who caught a sexually transmitted disease, I call it death, from a policyholder in his insured vehicle. In Geico General Insurance CO versus MO, a Missouri woman, the titular MO, claims that her partner, Martin Bronner, terrible bad responsibilities when it comes to sex type name, negligently infected her with humane HPV. I'm not even trying to attempt that right now. After they had sex in his 2014 Hyundai Genesis, she claims Bronner was aware that he had HPV, but neglected to inform her before they had unprotected sex, resulting in past and future medical expenses and mental and physical pain and suffering. In February of 2021, MO filed a $1 million claim against Bronner and his insurer, Maryland-based Geico, claiming she should be compensated for bodily injury under the car's insurance policy. Geico refused to pay the claim, arguing that the injury did not occur in normal use of the automobile because, let's be honest, when you look at a car, you're supposed to think, ooh, let me grab my keys and let me turn on the ignition and let me drive the steering wheel. You're not thinking this is the perfect place to bump fronts and have a good time, because that's not what a car is for. A car is not for your kinks, ma'am/madam. I don't care how foggy it gets. A lot of y'all can't fit in the back seat anyway. In March of 2023, the U.S. District Judge Fernando Gayton Jr., great name, gave a favorable ruling to Geico. Upon review of the parties' arguments, the court finds that consensual sexual relations inside a car do not constitute a use of the automobile within the meaning of the subject of policy. But MO and Bronner appealed to the 8th Circuit to have the district court decision reversed. The couple contends that the language of Bronner's insurance policy is so broad to justify MO's bodily injury claims stemming from her HPV infection and subsequent development of brain cancer. Their brief cites how a Missouri arbiter awarded MO $5.2 million from Bronner after finding him liable for negligence. Well, at least she's getting something from somebody who don't know how to control their nuts. MO and Bronner engaged in sexual activity in Bronner's 2014 Hyundai Genesis at least once as of December of 2017. MO claims that Bronner negligently failed to tell MO that Bronner was infected with the HPV and failed to use adequate protection to take proper precautions to prevent its transmission to MO. Under the Geico auto policy, bodily injury means bodily injury to a person, including resulting in sickness, death, or disease. The couple assert that since Bronner's insurance policy was issued in Kansas, any ambiguity in the policy should be decided in favor of the insureds according to the state law. If the policy is ambiguous, the Kansas law requires that it be interpreted in favor of Bronner and the coverage. Attorneys for Geico disagree. The auto policy does not cover liability for injury caused by the transmission of a sexually transmitted disease merely on the basis that a covered vehicle was used as shelter for or as the situs of sexual activity. A 3-judge panel consisting of U.S. Circuit Judges Stephen Coloton, Michael Malloy, and Raymond Grinder, these are confusing names, heard these arguments in court Wednesday. The judges questioned MO's attorney David Mayer on whether the client's argument would make Geico responsible for every unwanted pregnancy that might have occurred in an automobile, which is a pretty good question, because if we're setting a rule now, it would drastically change how things are looked into in the future, because you decided to bump fronts with somebody and not force them to wear a condom or not get your medical checked between each other, because let's be honest, that's a considerable thing a lot of people should do. I don't care if you call me weird for it. I would rather demand medical history than end up with AIDS, because it's not something in my cup of tea. I don't believe that's a cause of action, but that's a good question, Mayer responded. He suggested that pregnancies may not be bodily injuries, but STDs and cancer are. I would argue differently, because there's the potential. I don't know where the statistics lie in this, but there are some people who have lost their lives from bringing new life into this world. There are some people whose bodies change, so you know what I'm saying? Ladies, I love you. I know I don't know a lot of what you go through. I know you bleed out once a month, but that's besides the point. This was bodily injury. This poor lady received cancer, and it's terrible. It's a bad situation. Geico attorney Douglas Beck, great name, told the court the insurance policy should only apply when using an auto as an auto for vehicular purposes. He pointed to case law in Kansas that denied people coverage for injuries that were not identifiable with the normal use of an auto. But the panel was concerned that the meaning of normal use of an auto is ambiguous. It's foreseeable that people are going to have sex in the car. I mean, that's clearly foreseeable, right? One of the judges asked. Beck argued that a covered incident must be related to a foreseeable and reasonable use of a car, which is not the same thing as conceivability. People hypothetically could use a car to have sex, the logic goes, but that does not mean it is an appropriate use of the vehicle that should be covered by insurance. And I agree, because again, you're supposed to use it to drive. You're not supposed to use it as your sex dungeon, because that's not what the car is for. I think this is the best part of the whole article. And by quibbling over the meaning of what is an appropriate use of a car, Beck told the judges, you are turning what is an automobile policy into a general liability policy without restriction. And yes, duh, because that's what you're doing. Because you two people decided, let's have sex in a car, and you didn't use protection. You didn't check to see if everybody was clean. This is your own fault. And I'm not laughing at you. I'm not saying this is what you get. I'm saying this is the risk you run when you have unprotected coitus, and nobody should be doing it. I don't care if it's fun. I don't care. Let me be the Debbie Downer. Let me be the fun police. I would rather your bodies be safe, your bodies be clean, and you have personal responsibility than you doing dumb shit, and then you thinking you probably gonna get $1 million off of a lizard Geico gecko and thinking everything's scot-free, because I don't really see how you go manage that. I don't think you can actually manage being able to convince people that you somehow are warranted of $1 million because you made a decision that ultimately fucked your life up. And again, I'm not saying this to be mean. I'm saying it based in reality, because you chose to do that. And I don't mean to sound harsh, but sex is a very important thing. When you have it, you are having a connection with somebody, and it's like, yo, I want to make sure that connection is clean and I don't itch my nuts afterwards, because no. I don't think she's getting that money, but I do hope in time her body heals the best way it can given the circumstances. I hope the bastard with the STDs just ends up single and heartbroken and never have the ability to interact with women ever again, because You had an STD and you did not disclose that to anybody. You deviant. You are a piece of shit in this case too. I don't know if I've hammered that point home enough, but yes, you or anybody who has a disease on their body and you don't disclose that, you are a piece of shit. Don't try to argue me down. Don't talk about what's somehow an insult to your character. If you have a disease and you don't disclose that and you bump and grind, you are a piece of shit too. And I hope she take all this anger with Geico and bring it towards your motherfucking ass, because you are still responsible for relaying information of what happens with your body, of what goes on in your body. And if you clean, if you know you've never touched anything in your body based off medical history is clean, the sky's the limit. If you know that you got something going on in there and you participate willingly in coitus, you a piece of shit. You a piece of shit. Don't matter if you're straight, gay, because I know a lot of the gay people like to have these conversations to try to make it seem like it's homophobic for asking these questions. No, it's not. It's not. It's being a human, a considerate human. Duh. Like, you stupid? Yes, because you clearly say stupid shit like that, so you are stupid. Let me know. Is she getting $1 million? Is she losing that whole thing? Is the boyfriend gonna actually live to see another day as in a relationship with somebody? I hope not. I hope that relationship ended. I hope it ends at any point, because love clearly costs something, and it costs your healthy body. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see y'all in the next one. Fuck the Mavericks.